It's elimination time here in the InThePitsNews Truck Series as the stars of the Truck Series, along with Tyler Watermullen, make their way to Atlanta Superspeedway, the final race before the chase. And of course, it's got to happen in a hectic, chaotic fashion. We're going Superspeedway racing here at Atlanta. It's going to be crazy, and I need some extra help in the booth for the rest of this season as how it's going to get so hectic. So along with Adam Kuhn, as always, I'd like to welcome Jonathan Canfield to the booth tonight. Jonathan, Adam, welcome to Atlanta.
Oh yes, Dawson. Atlanta, new Atlanta at that. Super Speedway, like you said. I think a lot of these drivers were hoping for the old surface because this is going to be interesting, to say the least. I don't really know what to expect as far as super speedway racing goes on this track. Personally, never driven on it, and just looking forward to seeing how the draft package works and if we're going to see some carnage here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. Going to be a pack race, of course, pretty much, and it's going to be pretty dramatic throughout the entire race. Who's going to be up front in the beginning stage and who's going to be left at the end? I was very much the details that Talladega doubleheader was just getting to the end.
And talking about this being the cutoff race, let's very quickly go over what we're going to see here for this playoff battle. There is your playoff grid. Of course, we've got 8 drivers that will make it on points, and we've got 2 wild cards. So as it stands right now, we've got our 2 drivers that are wild cards. We've got all our drivers that are locked in. So we've got to get that over to you and show you just what we're looking at in terms of positioning. So as of right now, these are your playoff drivers locked into the field. You've got Jonathan Parker, Michael Kruger, Justin Durand, Alex Kerfin, David Durand, Dalton Kelly, Alonso Chicano, and Andrew Elias. Those are your 8 drivers that are currently locked in on points. They will be racing for a championship, and you saw it in that graphic beforehand. We've got 2 drivers that are in that top 8 that are not going to be racing for a championship. It's Cameron Caldwell and Brett Bennett. They have foregone their eligibility for the Season 3 championship. They will not be a part of the title hunt. So, with that, that leaves us with a bit of a confusing points battle. But, Jonathan, do you want to walk us through what we're looking at points-wise to see who's going to battle for a championship?
Indeed, I will. Just let me go ahead and get that pulled up on my end as I was watching the drivers in practice. Looking at the points, we do have Andrew Elias being the last car locked in here for the championship hunt here for the playoffs. We went over it a little earlier. Matthew Stott, he would... I believe, if you'll have to correct me, Dawson, because I have a terrible memory, but he would possibly have a chance at the last wild card, I believe we were talking about.
Yes, so he would have that chance that last wild card, but as of right now, he's not here, and he's only got a minute 42 left to be here. Is the issue?
Yes. Yeah, so we're not seeing him show up, and I believe that opens the door for possibly Fonseca Moreno. Like I said, I have very terrible memory, just going off what I see going down the list. But as far as must-wins, we've got JCTV's own Josh Copernell. He's still in the hunt, but he's going to need a win here tonight. And just talking to him earlier this week, obviously I was in the booth last night with the NAOR series and throughout the week. He's looking for that win here tonight. Next, going down the list from him, pretty much the rest of these drivers are going to need a win. And Jeremy Richmond next down the list. I haven't seen if he's in session yet. Zach Probst, I just looked. He is not in session, so he will not be making a championship run this season. And Gracias with a win this season. I'm showing negative 38 from WC. Dawson, can you reflect on what that might mean?
So what that's implying is that is saying that as of that moment of that image right there, that graphic, we'll go ahead and pull that back up for the viewers at home here. So what we're going off of is we're going off of the point standings on this graphic right here. That 38 from the wild card means that Gracias is 38 points back from the second wild card spot that belongs to Dakota Knoll. However, as it stands right now, Gracias is in the air on if he can make the playoff races or not, and I think they said he was taking himself out of that playoff hunt picture because he wasn't able to make it. I believe that was what we were talking about. So he is currently out. Ryan Bogey with this start tonight, will lock his way into a championship hunt with his win that he got earlier this season at Michigan. And Dakota Nola's up in the air too. He did not make the field tonight. He is not here, so it's also up in the air on if he will be racing for a championship. That is still to be determined. So as it stands right now, your wild card spots belong to Ryan Bogey, who has locked it up, and Matthew Stotts, who is 29 points ahead of Ethan Fonseca Moreno. But with no Stotts, that puts Moreno in the hot seat. If he can manage and hold off and get a repeat winner or a driver who's not racing for the championship, he will be in the playoffs. If someone outside of that championship, if someone outside of that battle wins it, like Josh Coppernoll, like Zach Probst, like Aaron Siciliano, or Brian C. Smith, they will jump in over Moreno, and they will be the final playoff drivers. Very confusing, very, very confusing for sure. But what we're going to do is we're going to get you out here for qualifying, as we've got Michael Kruger on track right now. And of course, Michael Kruger out on track. He is not showing a track, just showing a circle for us here, like usual with ATVO. But Michael Kruger, of course, is locked into the playoff picture, second in points in the regular season. A very strong sophomore season. It was almost, it was kind of curious on how he would do the second season, but he's been able to step up and run with that same consistency that we saw in season 2.
Yeah, he was Daytona winner in season 2, rookie of the year contender last season, and was really a threat for the championship. And like you mentioned, he's going back for it this season. P1 on the board right now with that lap time, and he's going to be trying to be in this mix tonight, Dawson, for sure. Know he's really strong on these type of tracks.
Yeah, and we mentioned, strong on these tracks. He won the season 2 in what was, I believe, his first career start even, winning that race at Daytona. A very good effort, for that 14 machine this season. As of right now, nothing to hang their hat on. They've had a really good season. Just they've been one-upped bit by one other driver, and that other driver has been the 81 of Jonathan Parker, who's been able to get the best of Kruger every so often. So right now, looking to see what we've got. Looks like Alonso Chicano is currently getting rolling on track. Of course, our season 2 champion, defending series champion. He'll get to defend that championship this season as he heads into the playoffs. So as we watch Alonso Chicano head out to start his qualifying attempt.
Another Daytona winner, Dawson. He won the season 1 race there, and uh, has been on. We keep talking about this season. Hasn't had the performance we come to expect out of this 25 truck. A little bit of an off year. He did get a win early on in the season at a mile and a half, but it's just kind of been off. But we know he's looking towards the chase. We keep mentioning it at mile and a half tracks. This one, of course, a mile and a half, but it's going to race totally different from what he's accustomed to. But he is going to be up front. Another driver who was really great on these restricted plate races and loved to lead laps. He led lots of laps at Talladega. I think he led the most laps out of anyone at the Talladega doubleheader, but didn't come away with any result.
Yeah, he is a very good plate racer, and it's no shock that he's going to go at it here tonight. Right now, though, 11th fastest in qualifying, not able to get to the top of the boards. But he is still trying to go for that second lap here. See if he can improve it and bump it up. Looking to see some of those playoff tracks that we're talking about. Of course, he won Kansas last season. That won him the championship. So we've seen him pull these wins off before. But looking through the rest of these, races that we're looking forward to, he won at Chicagoland back in season 2 as well, which of course is our playoff opener. So that'll be interesting to look at as well as we get ready to go into it. He did well at Bristol, did well at Homestead, and of course Martinsville was Martinsville. So you can't really talk too much on that. But as you see right there, Jonathan Parker out on track, looking to set a fast lap time as well. Like I said, he has been nothing short of dominant this season. And Parker goes third fastest here in qualifying at 32.393, puts him third behind Michael Kruger, Alonso Chicano. Ryan Bogey is fourth, and Roy Crump is running at the top 5 as we got 25 seconds. Looks like that might be it here for qualifying. Everybody
And
else.
as it looks like qualifying is going to wrap up with just 12 drivers taking time, I would like to point out we did have somebody who was just hiding in my Twitch chat a little bit ago pop up here in the race. Uh, Anthony Marshall making a one-off here with this series. Sure, going to be interesting to see how he does.
Indeed, it'll be interesting to watch. But right now, we're going to take a look at your starting grid here, presented by Mardon PCs and Mardon Technologies. The front row, Alonso Chicano, Michael Kruger making up that first row. No shocker there. The two that were fighting for a title last season look to close out this regular season with a win. Right behind them is your regular season champion, Jonathan Parker. And alongside him is the 21 of Ryan Bogey, who has also locked his way into the championship. In row 5, we see a debut tonight for Roy Crump, driving that number 70 machine with Brett Bennett to his outside. And then Ethan Fonseca Moreno and Nathan Fuller make up row 4.
Cody McCorkle returns in the O2 truck, and he's going to start on row 5 alongside Tristan Mahos, who will roll off in 10th. Behind them in row 6 is going to be Scott Roush and Dalton Kelly starting 12th with David Durand. Excuse me, that's Justin Durand and David Durand sharing row 7. Alex Kerfin is going to start on row 8 with Cameron Caldwell alongside, and Jeffrey Armistead rolls off from row 9 next to Jason Gracias.
Behind Jason Gracia, starting in the 19th position, is going to be Brian Smith. Starting in the 20th spot, you're going to have the 44 of Andrew Elias, who I believe is locked in tonight. Making this start, he will be locked in for a playoff spot. Next down the order, 21st position goes to Josh Arnold in the 26 truck. The 15 truck, Jamie Wright, going to be to his outside in the 22nd spot. Daniel Saponsky is in the 51 truck tonight. He will be starting 23rd. Tyler Watermelon in the 24th spot to his outside. Anthony Marshall going to be rolling off 25th with JCTV's own Josh Coppernell to his outside. And rounding out the field in the 27th spot is going to be Shane O'Neill in that 91 truck.
Shane O'Neill, of course, starting shotgun from the field. He will be trying to come from that last position to score the victory. So we've got the drivers on the grid. Let's take a look through the field and see who we're picking to win. First, let me give it to you, John. You are our newest member here on JCTV. Why don't you take your first pick of the winner?
Well, kind of a dark horse, but he's got to win this season, and he's starting somewhere up front. I'm going to take that 21 truck of Ryan Bogey here. I think he's going to have what it takes to get to the front and get this thing done tonight.
I will go with the 14 of Michael Kruger. I mentioned him a little bit in practice and qualifying, how he's fast on these speedway type tracks, and he's going to be up front, of course, starting on the pole. I was looking on him in the practice session, of course, and he seems pretty confident here on this track.
You guys are leaving open a wild card here, and I'm going with the wild card. The driver making his debut tonight, starting 5th. I'm taking Roy Crump. I've been around Roy a while. I know how he drives. I know how he races, and I feel like he has got enough stuff to get it done here tonight. Roy Crump will be your victor here tonight. And so those are our picks here on JCTV. As we get ready to go green, Michael Kruger, Alonso Chicano lead the field. And of course, we mentioned it. Jonathan Parker, regular season championship is locked up with this start here tonight. Michael Kruger is just too far back. 51 points the gap, and not enough cars starting in the field to make that difference matter. So, Kruger and Chicano, at this point, they're just going to have to settle to racing for a win instead of battling for the regular season title and those bonus points. But they're going to lead the field through the tri-oval to the green flag. We are racing here in Atlanta for the final race in the regular season.
Side by side down into turn number 1. This is going to be the first laps of a big draft here. Get to see what the package has. No, watching from the Cup Series debut last year and all the vehicles that ran here last year, the bottom line kind of have to give some room. Gets kind of loose when you're down on the bottom in a big pack like this. And we know how these trucks react on a super speedway. The wind just blows them around everywhere as it looks like Michael Kruger is going to lead the first lap.
He'll come to the tri-oval leading Jonathan Parker and Roy Crump with Ethan Fonseca Moreno back there in 4th. So right now, like we mentioned, we're going to be watching this 43 throughout the race, but we're also going to be watching that race lead battle because that 43 is in a position to make the championship hunt and to make the playoffs. All he's got to do is finish this race, and he has to have someone who is not in a contention for a wild card spot win the race. So any repeat winners will be good in the book for Ethan Fonseca Moreno. But right now, running fourth, not a worry yet because Michael Kruger is out front leading this race.
Roy Crump there through the front straightaway went below the red and white line and it kind of upset the line behind him. Ethan Moreno, they popped out of line in that 43. He had help behind him, but kind of upset this pack. And now Alonso Chicano, who started outside pole, dropped way back to 7th or so on the uh, opening lap with no help on the outside lane. He's just trying to stay up there now and draft back up to those guys with Nathan Fuller. And now just a huge block there from Scott Roush to the outside lane.
Yeah, everybody is fighting for positions here early on. Some of these drivers are definitely looking to break through and find victory lane. One of those drivers looking to break through and find victory lane, that 47 back there, Brett Bennett. This is his 43rd career start here in the In the Pits News Truck Series, and he is now still the proud owner of the most starts without a win stat here. Of course, driving that Strictly Stats scheme, he's a man for making stats, and he definitely loves having one of his own, but he wants to break that. He wants to get his first career win here tonight, and he is definitely looking on pace to at least stay in the contention for it as he runs top 10 right now. And you see a battle for the lead happening. Oh, Ethan Fonseca Moreno going to the inside, trying to make the move on Jonathan Parker, who has made his way around Michael Kruger. So now Jonathan Parker moves to the point here, leading the way at Atlanta.
Definitely interesting seeing these guys not afraid to dice it up here early. Only 6 laps into a 130 lap race. Dawson, are you surprised to see these guys kind of going for it here early? I personally don't think track position's too important as long as you stay in the draft.
To some of these drivers, that doesn't matter right now. Ethan Fonseca Moreno, his fate is not in his hands. Jonathan Parker has nothing to race for at this point. He is already locked up the regular season championship. The most he's doing is racing for the win and for the points, and he's going to try to go up there and dominate, lead the most laps, take some more points for himself in the regular season. So we're going to see this 81 and this 43 mix it up a lot more than some of these other drivers that we've seen, running in this race right now. You see Brett Bennett, squirrely Brett Bennett's going to spin! And somehow he's going to save it. Hit Ryan Bogey as he was sliding. And they were all able to recover and keep it straight. I don't know how they did, but they did. We're going to take a quick look back at that one. It was a push from Nathan Fuller heading into turn 2. Got the 47 squirrely. He hits Bogey down on the bottom, but everybody was able to gather it up. It's Daniel Saponsky that was there. He was outside. And everybody was able to keep it going here. So Brett Bennett, very lucky that didn't end worse for him.
It could have been a huge wreck there, and you mentioned Sponsky almost got into Scott Roush. That could have been a big crash among itself after Brett saved his truck, but this really has really split up the pack way more than what it was. We had a really spread out field before that, and now it's only about 4 trucks up here by themselves, and then a gap, then 4 more trucks, and then another gap, and it's just really fanned out here with Ryan Bogey, his damaged truck side by side with Cody McCorker down the front stretch.
I'd keep eyes, though, on this second group to get formed up here, though, and it won't be too long here before we get a big pack forming back up. Oh, is the 50 truck. Scott Roush having a little bit of handling issue in this second group. Maybe just a little loose right now, but as I'm saying, that the group just needs to form and try to run down those top 4 trucks.
Yeah, they just need to get a line formed. They need to figure out who's going to lead the field and lead this group back up to the front. Nathan Fuller kind of on an island by himself right now as he's got that group up ahead of him. Michael Kruger, the very tail end of that group, he is a little bit further ahead, about 7/10, maybe 6/10 now, as Fuller's trying to pull back up. But he's also going to have to pull a little bit of a caboose with him as he's got Ryan Bogey, Cody McCorkle, and Daniel Zaponsky trying to pull off of his draft as well, seeing if they can't make their way up to the front with him.
And right here, you see how much the draft is worth at this place, how much speed Nathan Fuller has compared to these guys just sitting about 3/4 of a second back and just running full throttle. And he's got a run on Michael Kruger. He's going to take it to the outside here and try and gain another spot.
Yeah, he's going for it. He's here for wins. He's not here for anything else. So battling for positions at this point, this stage of the race, it's nothing to him. If he wrecks out, he wrecks out. It looks like Michael Kruger was able to back off and just let him have it. So Kruger drops back to 5th. Fuller moves up to the 4th position. And now he looks to do some more work going to the outside of Roy Crump.
Fuller saying, I want to get to the front now, and I want to stay up front. He's going to look to the outside here. We'll see how much the side draft can help him as Kruger jumps out to the outside to give him some help. We might have two wide racing here before too long, boys. The trail pack has caught these front four.
Now, there's a big difference between Atlanta and a race like Talladega or Daytona. Comparative to this race, and that is tire wear matters. Because while it is a race like Super Speedway where you get the draft and you can run up there in packs like this, tire wear still matters. Your tires are still going to wear out. They're still going to burn out, and it's going to make that corner slippery. As you see some drivers sliding up, like Ethan Fonseca Moreno, who's going to go around, and he's going to gather it up on the apron. How on earth is he still wheeling this thing? He's going to lock it up. He's going to slide it on the apron, and the caution's going to come out for the first time here tonight due to an incident from Ethan Fonseca Moreno, who spins. He was running in the 4th position at the time, I believe. With that spin, and the caution flag will fly. He had that thing saved a ton of times here, as we'll take the replay here. Look at this. He bobbles in turn 3, sliding through turn 4 on the apron. He gets it gathered up. He's fighting with it, sawing at the wheel, and finally just loops it around a little bit there to stop it from doing any more damage. We're going to take a look inside the cockpit. Just look at the wheel. Watch this motion here he has. This is coming out of turn 2, right behind that number 81 of Jonathan Parker. Just really good wheel control. Able to keep it from really getting away from him there. But alas, that'll cost him. He's all the way back to 26 now. Currently scored as the last car on the lead lap.
And outside of needing tires, relatively no damage to that truck, so he'll be able to carry on here.
Just 15 laps into this race, Nathan Fuller has taken the race lead. Michael Kruger is 2nd. Jonathan Parker is 3rd. Cody Corker 4th. And Daniel Saponski running at top 5. But the guy I want to talk to is currently scored 23rd. It looks like he's pulling down pit road along with the rest of the field. Let's see if we can get a hold of the driver of the 44 truck, Andrew Elias. Hey, Andrew, this is Dawson with the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Alrighty, you pull down pit road here, just a way to get to the back of the field, I assume.
Yeah, filling up with fuel, might as well. You know, I was back there already.
Alrighty, well, we're 15 laps into this race, so we had about maybe 14 laps of green flag action. What did you see out there? You were mostly running in the back, so you were able to see it out in front of you. What was your, perspective of all that racing happening ahead of you?
I think they're trying to wreck half the field before the stage. So I think I'm just going to hang back out here with Cam and Justin and David and Alex and just let everything unfold.
Alrighty, you've got a couple laps to go before the stage. Are you just going to ride it out and let the stage happen, or are you going to try to go for some stage points?
I think I'm probably just going to ride it out and, let them wreck coming to the stage.
Alrighty, you're going to go ahead and do so. You're going for the win, obviously, but a lock in the playoffs with this start. Able to go race for a championship. What is your thoughts heading into this playoff picture now as you go to hunt for the Season 3 championship?
Well, there's a few thoughts, but, what's getting in the way is, I'm constantly thinking about Tyler Watermelon's mom. I just can't stop thinking about her.
Alrighty, well, I think we're all thinking about her at this time, but obviously you've got a little more things to focus on as we're getting ready to go to the choose, I think, to get this race going. So best of luck to you, and we hope to talk to you later. And that was the most electric driver in the InThePitsNews Truck Series, Andrew Elias, the man without a filter, that's for sure. Driver of the 44. So as we've gotten to choose this time, Fuller goes to the bottom, Parker up top, Kruger to the bottom in row 2, and Saponski taking row 2 to the outside lane. And there you see Jason Gracias making a rare appearance here. He hasn't raced for a couple weeks now, I believe. I think his last appearance was at Talladega, all the way back in December. So it's good to see him back racing as well. Of course, a win on the season at Dover earlier this year. Kruger, Jonathan Parker, of course, the two most dominant trucks of the season. They've been out front the most. Jonathan Parker, of course, with 4 wins of the season. Looking for win number 5 here tonight. Well, with only 16 laps of, with only 14 laps of green flag racing, what were your all's thoughts so far as we get ready to go green again?
I was
I
surprised
think
by the draft package, just how long it takes for drivers to suck up. But once they get there, race is on.
I was surprised to see with how calm it got. It was very, very interesting at the first opening laps, but it did get tame at the front of the field. This almost spin by Brett Bennett definitely did spread everything out, but I think the sprint to the stage is going to be way more dramatic.
Well, we're going to have about maybe make it less than 15 laps to go to the stage as Nathan Fuller will lead the field through the Geico restart zone to the green flag. We are back racing here at Atlanta with 18 laps in the books. The stage caution is lap 33. So if I put my thinking cap on, that's about maybe 16 laps, I believe, to the end of the stage. So we're just over halfway, obviously.
As they come out of 3 and 4, I'm kind of watching the field. I see a familiar truck back there. You might see it as well, Dawson. Somebody hanging just outside the top 10 right now. That 42 who needs a win. Looks like he's working his way slowly to the front here.
Oh, wrecking!
And Cody McCorker in front of the field. Jonathan Parker on the apron that might have started it all being in the
Oh, and the announcer's curse. The 42 is involved as well.
Don't know how that wasn't a bigger crash than what it was, but absolutely gutted to see the 42 JCTV machine with front end damage.
We'll take a look back. There's Cody McCormick spot on the apron. Let's see if we can get a better look at what happened to that 02 machine. He almost looked like he was able to recover pretty well, but that's where the damage comes to Cumbernauld. Just an untimely hit there, obviously. Oh, Saponzi got into the back of Parker, and that sent the field stacking up. Crubb was in it, Arnold was in it, and then Coppernoll right there at the end. That'll put us at our second caution of the night here for incident.
And on that restart, Jonathan Parker did a great job. He was on the outside pole for that restart, and it was kind of a discombobulated start for the bottom lane. Some guys spun their tires, and the 81 truck just slid right in there, and was a great move at the time, but obviously he didn't expect to get turned on the apron there in turn one. But he did a great job saving it, not so much for Cody McCorker behind him.
So like Jonathan Parker is going to go up pit road, obviously. Tristan Maher went down there. Jason Gracias got some damage. I saw that. The only driver it looks like that was involved in that wreck that stayed out is the 51 of Daniel Saponski. He sits third right now. You can see that 51. The smack tonight, Chevy Silverado. It's a play on the Mac Tonight program that McDonald's ran back in the 90s. Bill Elliott drove that scheme in, I believe, 1996. And then we saw Jamie McMurray, of course, run a throwback to that in, I think it was 2016 was the year. Could be off on that. But that's what Daniel Saponski's got in that paint scheme right there, the number 51. And speaking of throwbacks, we got another throwback a little bit further back in the field to highlight another driver in the field. Of course, we always rag on him running in 8th place right now. How about Tyler Watermullen? Currently riding 8th place. He's having a good run so far. Of course, he's also a winner here in the InThePitsNews Truck Series race. InThePitsNews Truck Series, excuse me, winning Season 1's Talladega race. He's driving that number 68 machine. It's essentially a throwback to Jeff Burton's AT&T scheme that he ran, where they had to take the AT&T decals off due to Sprint not allowing it. Very, very niche paint scheme, but definitely something that he called out, and we called out and noticed it. So that's 68 right there. Currently scored 8th, looking to see if he can make some magic happen again, and maybe notch a second career win to his belt.
Yeah, that was a very attrition-filled race, and a lot of guys expecting this one to be very attrition-filled also tonight.
So with the choose, Fuller and Kruger go to the bottom. Saponski and Wright go to the top. Chicano in 5th on the bottom. Scott Roush is 6th on the top. Then I believe that is Brian Smith and Tyler Watermullen making up row 4. And Jamie Wright, of course, that number 0 truck, making his first career start tonight. Always good to see new faces in the league. Just another one of those drivers that's out there for the first time tonight, looking to make an impact if he can. Right now scored 4th, so a very quiet start here for this Zero truck, seeing if he can make some magic happen.
Well, does the intensity keep up, guys, or are we going to get some racing here for the stage?
It's going to be 11 laps to go at the stage. Adam, what are you thinking?
I think it's just going to keep on going the way we've been so far. I think it's going to be a lot more pushing right here to the end of the stage.
Well, we'll see how things shake out. So we look and see Nathan Fuller, of course, leads the field as of right now, heading back into the Geico restart zone. Michael Kruger there with him second on the inside row. Daniel Saponsky is outside row 1, and then Jamie Wright outside row 2. So the field will fall into the hands of Nathan Fuller through the Geico restart zone, back up through the gears. Green flag is back out. 11 laps to go here in the stage at Atlanta.
As you see, the leader gets a really good jump there, and he's going to bring Michael Kruger with him. Nathan Fuller, Michael Kruger. And it looks like Chicano also going to be coming with, but Chicano thought about going to that outside line. Might have just bailed out of it right there. Not enough trucks up there yet.
Daniel Sponsky lost his help of Scott Roush. He went to the inside and he's past that 51 truck before.
You know, you're not seeing double. Brian Smith running the exact same scheme as Daniel Saponsky. Trying to make the outside lane work with Watermelon behind him, but they are dropping like a rock quick as the inside line just starts to fly by him here.
Just ahead of him is Andrew Elias. We started inside row 5 on that last restart, and we talked to him 2 cautions ago. He said he didn't want to be up there, and now he's in contention for the stage points. In 7th, top 8 are going to get bonus points here at the end of the stage.
Right now, Nathan Fuller leading. Michael Kruger's right there with him. Looking to see if he can get another stage win, get ready to head into the playoffs.
And Elias jumps to the outside here. He might fall like a rock, but looks like he might be trying to make a move here.
Coming out of line from 6th place. He's trying to make something work. He's going to get around Saponsky for right now. He's going to work on Scott Roush next if he can get to him. But right now, he's going to have to fight and battle for what he can get. It looks like he might be able to slide in line for 5th, too. Ahead of Saponsky, Roush is going to pull up. It looks like he peeked to the outside, wanted to go to the outside, but does not go. And you see there, issues for Fuller, the race leader. He's going to drop back. Saponsky makes contact with Roush. Roush is in the wall back in the background. And there they go! Daniel Saponsky is flipping, flying through the air. Carnage here on the back straightaway. The caution flag will fly again. Daniel Saponsky is taking the road course for some reason. I think his head is still stuck in the 24 hours Daytona mindset that he just got done running. But the caution will fly again for the 3rd time here tonight. And this one might be the end of the stage. We're going to see if we can take a look back and see how that all started. It happened up near the front. Nathan Fuller got a little sideways. He was able to slow down and recover it. But as soon as he recovered, Saponsky and Roush made contact. Roush hits the outside wall. When Danny comes back up, it's not even looking. He hits Jamie Wright. That takes out that 44 man Elias. Jason Gracias was involved. Tyler Watermelon might have been able to stop in enough time. Gracias was in it. Roy Crump might have been in it.
And yet again, I gotta say, our announcer's curse has struck twice for tonight. We're 2 for 2. Talking about Andrew Elias, and he's in the wreck.
See all the other drivers trying to miss it, pile into it, and there someone else hit him there. That was Scott Roush, I believe, and got into the side of Elias. So that'll put more trucks on pit row. That gives the lead to Michael Kruger and Alonso Chicano. So the front row, from where they started, is right back at it. 1-2 yet again after starting 1-2 at the beginning of this race. Ryan Bogey 3rd. Ryan Smith is up to 4th. And Jonathan Parker back to 5th as they run right now. Looks like Roy Crump is on pit road getting some damage repaired. Cody McCorkle pulls away, as does Roy Crump, still on pit road. David Durant on pit road with some damage as well. Scott Roush and Reliance with some long stops getting damage repaired as much as they can get done. And that 0 of Jamie Wright in his debut race. KO'd early on here before the stage could even conclude. So very rough start here for that 0. Who had a very good run going, running in the top 10, running in the top 5 even. That's going to come up for sure. Jason Grassi and Daniel Saponsky are out of the race. On my end, at least, it looks like they're out of the race, but I can't quite fully tell. With it being lap 28, it looks like we might have a 4-lap shootout for the stage, dependent on if we choose this time. Looks like we are, so we'll have a 4-lap shootout to determine the winner of the stage. See, Jonathan Parker wanted to go back low. Oh, his contact up front! Or back in the back, I should say, excuse me. Tristan Maher got put in the wall by Brett Bennett, who went to choose the top lane. You see right there, that late decision. Bennett was close if he would have made it. I think he would have made it there. But he still makes contact with the 69 and puts him in the wall. And I believe Jonathan Parker got a choose violation.
Yeah.
As he is dropping to the tail of the field here. So Parker with a violation. I thought it was close, but I couldn't quite tell. But it looks like they nabbed him for a choose cone violation, so it'll drop him to the tail of the field, leaving Michael Kruger and Ryan Bogey as row 1. Then it's Alonso Chicano and Brian Smith, Nathan Fuller and Brett Bennett. Then it's the 43 of Ethan Fonseca Moreno and the 69 of Tristan Maher. The running top 10 is Jeffrey Armistead and Tyler Water. A reminder that the top 8 at the end of the stage will be the ones to score points. So Ethan Fonseca Moreno currently sitting as that sitting as that last truck as it stands right now. He and Tristan Maher are right there on the bubble. We got 4 laps to determine a winner of the stage. Let's see how crazy it gets. We've got Michael Kruger and Ryan Bogey in the front row. Looks like the caution was extended for a lap, excuse me. So 3 laps to go with the stage when they go back green. So what's the thoughts so far on this race here? How it's gone and all the chaos we've seen in this very early goings of this race, not even 30 laps in, and we're already under our 3rd caution.
Way more dramatic than I would have thought through the first 30 laps, Dawson. I wouldn't have expected so much chaos there in the last couple laps, especially under caution even. I know I said it was going to be high intensity all the way to the stage, but I thought they would have been, keeping it without wrecking the entire time. As we see Tristan Maher pull out of line, he's dropping to the rear of the field now.
Yeah, I expect the intensity to keep ramping up here. I mean, we're going to have a 3-lap shootout here to decide who wins the stage and who gets these final points. I don't expect any of these drivers to lay back. I expect to see pushing. I expect to see drivers getting out of control. Heck, I'd go as far to say that they're going to crash one more time here, either at the stage break or before it.
I wouldn't be so opposed to that either, John. And one thing to keep in mind is with the choose cone, look how weak the outside lane is. We've seen it always. Even the initial start with an even line, it just doesn't have a lot of speed, and so few trucks up choosing that lane. It's going to be very interesting to see where Ryan Bogey is going to fall here on this restart.
3 laps to determine the final stage of the regular season. Michael Kruger, Ryan Bogey are your front row. Kruger gets that big jump out front right now. Bogey laying back through the restart zone. Kruger mashes the gas pedal, and we are back underway here at Atlanta. 3 laps to determine the final stage of the regular season.
We're going to jump out right away, but there's no help out there at all. Here comes Nathan Fuller.
Nathan Fuller, the back bumper of Michael Kruger. You see back there, Brian Smith jumps out to push Alonso Chicano to the outside lane. Fuller's not going to have anywhere to go to make a run on Kruger. He's going to have to stay in line. See, Brian C. Smith is in the 4th position. Ethan Fonseca Moreno back up to 5th after his spin earlier on. He's back in the mix for the stage.
And here we go down into turn 1. They're still side by side, second on back. The 25, Alonso Chicano, just trying to build the momentum up top. He's getting a bit of a run here off the corner, trying everything he can to just keep his truck close to that front bumper of Brian T. Smith as Ryan Bogey jumps out of line, and he's going to go up to the outside now and help this outside train.
Coming up in the last lap of the stage, Kruger leading. Chicano can't quite get the run. You see Moreno dropping all the way down to the apron. He's going to have to be careful to not get penalized. Right now, he doesn't gain any positions, doesn't gain an advantage. In fact, losing a little bit of time there as Chicano now trying to make a run on Fuller. But it's Michael Kruger leading through 1 and 2. Seeing if he can hold off Fuller. Fuller's going to have one last chance to make a move if he can make it. But I don't think he's going to have enough to do it. You see, Moreno's going to try to the outside. Chicano tried to block, couldn't quite do it. So coming through 3 and 4, Michael Kruger is going to hold off, and he is going to win the stage here at Atlanta. Fuller's going to go second. Chicano is going to go third. Then after that, I believe it was Ryan Bogey fourth. Moreno is fifth. Watermole at sixth. Brian Smith seventh. And Cameron Caldwell nabbing that final spot there in the stage, that final 8th place points. But Michael Kruger is going to win the stage here tonight. I could hear just about all the drivers let out a nice breath of relief as that stage came to a conclusion with no issues whatsoever. So Michael Kruger will take the stage win. We're going to let them cycle through the pits, and then we'll see if we can reach out and get a word with the stage winner here. So as they head down pit road, ready to get service for the first time for some of these drivers. For some of these drivers, they're on pit road for probably their 30th time after all of this chaos that we've seen happen here tonight. Michael Kruger with that first pit stall, going to see if he can benefit and get off first. We'll have to see how fast the stop is and how good he was getting on pit road. So here you see Cody McCorkle pulling off. Looks like he is going to beat Kruger off. And then it's going to be the 4 of Nathan Fuller. Looks like Alonso Chicano going to pull off. Ethan Fonseca Moreno. There's Tyler Watermullen pulling off. Jonathan Parker behind him. Then after that, a little bit of a slower stop for everybody else. Maybe getting some extra damage repair. There's Ryan Bogey, Jeffrey Armistead. As they continue to pull off here. Coming off pit road. Looks like one truck stayed out. And that was the 30 of Alex Kerfin, who is going to start first. At least right now he is your race leader. But right now we want to talk to the driver of the 14, Michael Kruger, was able to score the stage winner. Hey Michael, this is Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Dawson.
Alrighty, a chaotic start to this race. That stage right there was nothing short of exciting from at least a viewing perspective, but you were able to go out there and snag the win for the stage there at the end of it. What was your thoughts of this race, you know, kind of going through it here with all the chaos happening around you?
Just to be in the right place when stuff goes wrong. I mean, I had track position at the start of the race starting up front, and I just made it an objective to just keep it throughout the stage there, and it paid off.
You were able to score the final stage win of the regular season. Of course, you are locked into the playoffs. You don't have to worry about any of that. Right now, it's just a battle to maintain that second place position. So what are your thoughts heading into this playoffs? You know, do you think this could maybe get some momentum going for you to get you going into the playoffs and maybe get the ball rolling?
I mean, sure, yeah, I could definitely get the ball rolling. I mean, it's my first stage in a little while. I mean, really, I have no pressure really here for tonight. So, like, of course, like, this could be a bit of a momentum builder heading to the playoffs here. So I could see that, yeah.
Alrighty, Mikey, we'll let you get back to your team. Best of luck. We hope to talk to you later. that was Michael Kruger, driver of the 14 truck. Don't know where he disappeared to. He was in our voice chat. I went to pull him back up to his team, and he just vanished there. But nonetheless, Michael Kruger, your stage winner. That's his 4th stage win on the season. He's been able to get it done a while here. We'll look to see if he can finish the job. So Corey McCorkle is your race leader. He chose the outside lane for this restart, so he is the control car as he heads to the Geico restart zone. The green flag is back out. We are racing once again, and McCorkle leads that outside lane.
And a driver who's back up front now by way of the choose is Jonathan Parker. Second car outside line going to try and push McCorkle. We know how that outside line does on restarts. Everyone kind of abandons it, and we're going to see as the 81 pulls down into line, McCorkle going to be left at the hands of that green truck. I believe that's the 20 of Jeffrey Armistead.
We saw the O2 had a lot of front-end damage involved in the big crash earlier, so not a lot of guys were very eager to pick behind him, so a lot of hesitant minds. We see this battle. Dyson for the lead, Chicano full of trying any way to get around one another. As the 14 leads. Parker to the inside of Chicano going to turn 1 though.
Parker going to settle down third in the inside lane for now. Chicano's going to continue to drop spots as nobody's able to get a run there with him. His only hope right now is Brett Bennett, Jeffrey Armistead, and Brian Smith, the SBLD drivers, all there on the outside lane, linking together. They're going to be pushing Chicano, but they've got a long way to go. He's fallen all the way back to 6th right now as it stands. He is currently behind the top 5. It looks like Chicano might try to slip in line in front of Cody McCorkle, so he'll sit himself up in 6th position there on the inside line. Looks like we're going to see a train start to form here as everybody's starting to go single file through the field. Nathan Fuller behind Michael Kruger, and you see about there the top 8 almost now, all single file as we head through the corner into 3, I should say. Top 7 all clear on the inside lane. Jeffrey Armistead on the outside lane trying to make something work. That number 20 truck making his 2nd start of the season. His first start coming last week at the Roval. It's good to see him show up and be able to make some of these races. Always good to see new drivers make some more attempts at this thing. And so we'll see what Armistead can do. Of course, this is his home track as he is a Georgia native. So definitely looking to see what this 20 car can do, here at his home track.
And Jeffrey, along with Michael, I believe 6 drivers in this race, Dawson, who competed in the 24-hour lead today.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, Daniel Saponski was a part of the group of drivers that ran the 24-hour race. I broadcasted that over on BRN. The highlight of that entire 24-hour race is over on my Twitch stream. If you do want to check that out, if you don't want to check that out, I don't blame you. But Michael Kruger was a part of that team, as was Jeffrey Armistead, Brett Bennett, Brian Smith, Daniel Saponski was a part of it as well. And I think that was, and Dalton Kelly, of course, was a part of it. Those were the guys that were out there doing some right turns as well. So see a car on the bottom, that's Brett Bennett, I believe. Dropped a spot. No, actually, that was in Reliance, I think, coming off of pit road. Excuse me. I saw Bennett starting to drop spots. Couldn't quite figure out what was going on there. But that outside lane starting to form up there. Brian Smith trying to make something work with Brett Bennett with him. There's Cameron Caldwell, and I believe that's David Duran behind him as well. Of course, Caldwell, the Season 1 champion. He knows how to get it done at these races. He won that first Talladega race this season. But the other driver that's back there behind him, not too far off, is another driver who's been able to get it done here at these kinds of tracks. David Duran of the 24. He won the season opener at Daytona this season for his first career win, and then he scored his 2nd career win in the 2nd Talladega race during that doubleheader weekend. So David Duran looking to see if he can go 3 for 4 on the season and get a sweep for Vortex Racing on these super speedway races. But right now, currently mired back in the 14th position. He's got a long road ahead of him if he wants to get up in front.
And it looks like these guys are just going to settle into this run here, and pretty much it looks like all the way back to the 52 truck, which is Brian Smith in the 8th position. Single file out through the top 7, maybe top 8 here if Brian Smith gets down. Top 9 with Alonso Chicano clearing the bottom. But Alonso Chicano jumping up there trying to pull Brett Bennett with him and maybe get an outside line working.
They're looking at trying to do it. Adam, what are you thinking right now watching this? How they're all trying to dice and weave back in the back half of this field?
I think it's just gonna make those guys running up front just more content to ride in line and not let anything happen, and just not wanting to build any more pressure at the front of the field. And all the crashes we've seen so far have been stemmed at the front of the field, and we already see a little bit of a breakaway between the 6th place truck and the 7th place truck. It's going to go away here as Chicano got clear of Jeffrey Emerson and Brett Bennett, so they're going to be able to run these guys back down pretty quickly. But if they kept racing side by side, we could have saw another split in the pack like we saw in that first stage early on.
You see Brian Smith's truck there, kind of beaten up. He started well out in the back half of this field, all the way back at 19th, and right now currently running in the 6th position. He's been able to make his way to the front, slowly but surely, in that number 52 truck. Definitely looking to see if he can notch his first career. But another thing, too, for that, if he can score the win tonight, that would be a pass to the playoffs. That's his golden ticket. So if he wants to go for this championship, he's got a shot to win it here tonight, so long as he can win this race. So it'll be a thing to watch, see what this 52 machine can do. But somebody as of right now looks like they will not be racing for a championship. Our good old buddy Josh Coppernol, who just got put a lap down by the field. So not a good season here so far for Coppernol, as he will fall short of the playoffs as it stands right now. Michael Kruger is your race leader, though, as we continue on here, lap 49 here at Atlanta.
And yet again, Brian Smith looking outside. He's got help this time from that 20 truck, Jeffrey Armistead.
As the laps continue to tick on, we're still not yet at that halfway point. Still a crazy race to go here. Definitely a lot of action left to go, but we're going to take you on a quick side-by-side break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Don't be conventional.
Kevin Harvick?
Be exceptional. Upgrade to Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. It helps your engine last over 250,000 miles.
Wow. What's he doing?
Raving.
He's exceptional.
So is Mobil 1. Yes.
Is this good?
I do not know.
Get 250,000 miles of protection. Upgrade to Mobil 1.
Ooh. Call Logano. Hey, Joey, you can save money if you fill up at Shell if you use Advanced Auto Parts Speed Perks.
Dude, I'm way ahead of you.
You saved at the pump?
Yeah, I saved at the pump.
The pump?
The pump.
You saved at the pump!
Woo! Now you can save at the pump when you shop at Advance Auto Parts. Learn more at advanceautoparts.com/gas rewards.
Now, it's my turn.
Man, we're door to door. I have the better car, fresher tires. I drove it in deep, and you missed it. I know you wanted to watch it, but you got throttled by your data plan, and it slowed you down. You hit your data limit streaming all that techno music, didn't you? I mean, really? Man, you've got some questionable taste in music.
Switch to Sprint, the only network with truly unlimited data.
Nothing's tougher than a Mahindra tractor.
Except a bigger Mahindra tractor.
Pound for pound,
This one's still tougher. Tough. Tougher. Tough. Tougher.
Mahindra, the official tractor of Tough and Stewart Haas Racing.
I got a race this weekend. I'll see you later.
With this automatic egg cooker, I get 7 perfectly cooked, hard-boiled eggs, which is perfect for my 7-day test zone with Carvana, where I get 7 days to make sure my new ride fits my lifestyle, especially my snacks. Day 1, great source of protein.
Hey, track bar's broke and you keep jumping out of gear. What do you want to do?
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Oh, Coca. Can you feel it?
Should probably go.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
When I'm not racing, I'm personalizing. Just like how Carvana lets you personalize your financing. You can customize your down payment and monthly payment in a matter of minutes for some truly dazzling results. Financing has never felt so fabulous.
Welcome you back here to Atlanta Superspeedway, where the racing has gotten dicey. And just like that, we've seen a change for the lead. Jonathan Parker storms back out front. Ryan Bogey, Ethan Fonseca Moreno pushing him. Michael Kruger falling back to right now third, with Cameron Caldwell behind him. It's been hectic, it's been chaotic. But just like that, we're seeing the battle shift, the momentum shift. And it leads us to where we are now, side by side for the race lead.
And while we were gone at break, I'm sure the viewers seen it in side-by-side. Nathan Fuller had a big moment there. Incredible save while these drivers were side-by-side for the lead. And they're still side-by-side for the lead. Give the lap that time to Michael Kruger.
Just barely gets it done there, but Parker's still fighting hard on the outside. He's got Ryan Bogey, Ethan Fonseca Moreno pushing him. And looking at that inside line, Cameron Caldwell and Michael Kruger. Two drivers who have been able to get it done at Super Speedway races. Of course, we saw Michael Kruger win the Season 2 season opener at Daytona. Cameron Caldwell, of course, a winner this season at Talladega during that doubleheader weekend. You talk about him being a winner. You talk about the guy who was not able to win, I should say. Cody McCorkle, of course, heartbreaking fashion at Talladega. He was leading both races through the tri-oval. He was up front, and he did not win either race. So that's the shifts you see in these Super Speedway races. You see Cameron Caldwell bailing out there, dropping to the apron. Going to get out of harm's way and drop back to the back. Didn't want to be up front. He must be feeling something that we're not seeing as he drops out back to let the rest of these trucks go to battle.
I'll tell you exactly.
I was surprised to see him up there at all, to be honest, Jonathan. I know he doesn't like pack racing that much and being up in the mix, especially this early in the going.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know exactly why he backed out. It was because last time by, coming into turn one, Ryan Bogey actually caught a little bit of the outside wall, I think, on a block from Jonathan Parker.
Oh, they just brought it down the backstretch, too.
Yeah, and this is what they were saying.
Oh,
Bogey's getting loose.
Huge save.
There is your explanation for why Cameron Caldwell wants to go to the back.
Oh, yeah, there have been just as many saves as there has been wrecks. And we just saw Ryan Bogey save it and keep the field from going into a pile up there. But he's going to lose, and who else is going to lose as well? But Jonathan Parker now had to suffer without a pusher, but somebody's caught back up and is pushing now. That's Nathan Fuller in the fourth. He's been up, he's been down, he's been back, he's been to the front, but right now he's found his way back to the fourth position. Second to the outside row behind that 81 of Jonathan Parker. As you see the two out front, it's almost poetic. Michael Kruger, Jonathan Parker, of course, they battled all season long for the points lead. In the end here, Jonathan Parker got the last laugh so far, as he is going to be your regular season champion. But Michael Kruger wanted to take it one step further, see if he can't get the last lap and win this race to close out the regular season, to get some momentum his way going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and don't look now, but Bogey's back up here. He's already third car in line on the outside. Just had a huge save. Draft package allows him to come right back up.
Oh, contact with Roy
Crump!
Crump!
We have the 70 going through the grass.
Bogey spinning in front of the field, and Jeffrey Armistead, nowhere to go, piles into it, and the caution flag is going to fly for the first time in the second half of this race. Ryan Bogey around, and he brings out the next caution. Going to look back and see. I don't know if he just had contact or if he just got whatever happened there, but it sent him into Crump. And, of course, Armistead locking up the brakes, just nowhere to go, though. Piles into it. Just like that, Ryan Bogey involved in another accident. This time, going to drop him a little further back with a little bit of damage, as he is now going to be scored 17th, last car on the lead lap. Tristan Maher should be getting the free pass and getting his lap back this time, I believe. Josh Coppernoll is currently scored 19th. Anthony Marshall is 20th. Looks like Shane O'Neill is out of the session in 21st. Andrew Elias is 22nd. Jamie Wright 23rd. And the rest of the trucks out of the race. Josh Arnold, Scott Roush, Daniel Stepanski, and Jason Gracias. So as it looks right now, things are looking promising for this 43 of Ethan Fonseca Moreno to make it in to the playoffs, at least barring the circumstances. As it stands right now, it's all dependent on what happens with Dakota Knoll. If Dakota Knoll is able to make the races, we will see him in the playoffs. If he's, for some reason, forgoes his eligibility, then that gives the spot to Moreno heading into next week. So it all depends, and we'll see what happens when the playoffs roll around. Of course, we still got a week before that starts at Chicagoland next week. Looks like everybody coming to pit road, going to get some service done.
Yeah, and Dawson, I brought it up twice, but I am personally now 3 for 3 tonight for drivers I talk about getting in accidents. I think we're going to have to stop this.
At least you're going to have to stop this. Looks like maybe Jonathan Parker's going to win the race off pit road. Michael Kruger second, Nathan Fuller, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, and then Brett Bennett is your top 5. Dalton Kelly rolling off 6. It's something we didn't mention at all today because we haven't really seen him up here today. That scheme there that Dalton Kelly is running, of course, he's been a master class of these tribute schemes, these throwback schemes throughout the season. That Joseph Srigley, number 45, painted up like Kevin Harvick's first career win that he got at Atlanta all the way back in 2001. Of course, running at Atlanta, it's only fitting. And of course, see on the bed of the truck, it is a Srigley stat focused on Kevin Harvick. But that number 45, he knows how to do these throwbacks and these tributes quite well here in the InThePitsNews Truck Series. What do you say? We see him up there. He's driving the pace truck right now. Let's see if he wants to talk to us. Let's see if we can get a hold of Andrew Elias. Hey, Andrew, this is the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, your race is kind of knocked down a little bit. Gotten worse since you talked to us last. You were involved in that wreck before the end of the stage, and right now you're going to go and wave around, and you're going to get one of your laps back to go from 18 laps down to 17 laps down. So what are your thoughts as this race continues on?
I kind of want to kill myself right now.
Kind of figured that's what it was. We saw you driving the pace truck, though. Is that at least giving you any bit of sliver of hope of life?
Yeah, dude, like, I was looking at the pace truck driver, and he's really kind of cute, and so, like, it was kind of motivating me, like, to do better.
Well, if he motivates you enough, get enough cautions, I mean, you never know. There's still plenty of time in this race. We're not at halfway. You could get back in this thing.
Yeah, thank you, Dawson.
All right, well, let's get back to the team, Andrew. Best of luck.
All right, I love you.
Of course, Andrew Elias, excellent as always with the interviews. As we back up with the team. Jonathan Parker leads. Brett Bennett shows the outside lane. He's second. For some reason, Brett Bennett's up front. This race is being turned on its head sideways multiple times. Let's keep it going here as this chaos is just now hit halfway. We'll see what can happen. Adam, Josh, Jonathan, excuse me, what are you two looking forward to?
I'm excited to see what Brett can do. He gained like 5 spots there on the choose cone. A bunch of guys were going up top and last minute changed their mind.
As the pace truck pulls off, I'm just going to say it's going to get wild. It's going to get crazy. We're on the second half of the race. Let's go.
Green flag back out. We are back underway here at Atlanta. Jonathan Parker leads the inside lane. Brett Bennett storming to the outside. He's going to try to drive it like he's going for the win now, even though he's still got about, make it 64 laps to go.
4 trucks pick that outside lane. 3 of them tuck in. Alonso Chicano, the man on an island, but it's Michael Kruger poking out to the outside on the back straightaway, trying to steal the lead from the 81 truck. He's got no hope behind him, though. Here comes Brett Bennett, but he's got Brian Smith to his inside.
And Michael Kruger tried to clear there as quick as he could. Couldn't quite do it. Now he's going to be stuck side by side with Brett Bennett behind him. And if anybody should worry you, if they're in your mirror to Super Speedway race, it is Brett Bennett. But he is now in Michael Kruger's rear view mirror. Going to be pushing that 14 truck. Going to try to get him out front to the lead.
Side by side, they will come down the back straightaway, still side by side for the lead. Who's going to get the advantage at the line right now? Give the advantage to Kruger, but bottom line, going to work, I think, on this exit for Parker. Parker pulls about a half a truck. We'll see if Kruger closes back up off the exit of 4. Kruger does. Give that lap to Michael Kruger.
Yeah, he's able to get these runs because that inside line is not fully on Parker's back bumper. You see how much of a gap they're leaving behind this 81 truck. You see the same gap's about being done with Michael Kruger on the outside with Brett Bennett. So they're not really able to pull up and get on the back bumpers of these two leaders. You see now Nathan Fuller jumping to the outside lane from third on the inside to third on the outside. It opens the door for Ethan Fonseca Moreno to slot himself into that third position down on the bottom. Have to see how this shakes up. But right now, Parker's able to try to eke out in front. He's going to lead the lap this time by as we hit lap number 70, I believe, indeed we do. Kruger trying to lead the way with Brett Bennett on his tail end. Nathan Fuller behind them. On the inside line, you got Jonathan Parker, Brian C. Smith, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, and Tyler Watermullen. He's up here.
Believe it or not, he is, and we still have side-by-side action for the lead. The 14 to 81, neither one willing to back out here, and they are coming across the line again. And Kruger's going to have it by a nose again over Parker. They just keep swapping that spot.
As these two battle up front, something I'm seeing out back. I noticed a little bit of movement up here in the top lane. David Duran got a little loose, but I see someone else up here as well. Cody McCorkle, I believe, is right there. He's pushing Alonso Chicano. Tristan Maher, excuse me, is the race winner from last week at the Charlotte Roval. He's up here looking to mix things up as another driver for Radius Racing. Going to see if he can push Alonso Chicano up front. But right now, they got a little bit of work cut out for him as they got to catch back up to Michael Kruger, Nathan Fuller, and Brett Bennett, who are rolling the outside lane, leading the way still side by side. Nobody able to really get advantage here of these top two. Some lappers there on the bottom. That's Jeffrey Armstead. Involved in that last accident with Ryan Bogey.
Parker now able to clear Kruger. Let's see what Brian Smith can do. He was able to eke out in front of that 14 for a moment, but Kruger still side by side with Brian C. Smith. Ethan Fonseca Moreno still not tucked up behind that 52 as much as he really could be, as much as we've seen tonight. And still a ton of room between the 52 and the 81 going in the corners.
They were clear for a second, Parker was, but now back to side by side with Kruger. Still not wanting to give in and give an inch.
It's down into the corner they go, still side by side for the race lead. Really double file back, about 4 or 5 rows deep here with Tristan Maher being the tail end of the outside line. More trucks on the bottom, but enough trucks on the outside to keep this train up here.
Still managing to be side by side. See there, looks like Roy Crump's back in the picture on that outside line, as is Tristan Maher right there, but still the inside line clears. Parker leads the field here with Brian Smith in tow behind him.
And I think a driver to really look out for is that driver back there in the 69 machine of Tristan Maher. Put it on these guys last week, winning the Roval. Wasn't an easy feat, but he put it on these guys. And now trying to show that, okay, my road win is not just because I'm good on road, I'm good going lefts as well.
Clears out front. He's going to pull down to the bottom. Parker thought about going to the top there, but Kruger's going to maintain. He will clear and finally take the race lead. But what does that do? That makes another scary sight possible. That opens the door for Brett Bennett to try to march on the outside lane and go for the race lead. There's Andrew Elias, the truck. He's not busy right now. Let's see if we can get a word in with him again. First, let's actually talk to somebody else. Somebody else is reporting to us. They are in the infield care center. They got checked and released, and they are ready to give us a word on what happened to them. It is JCTV's own Josh Coppernoll. Not only was he released from the infield care center, but he was also released from his championship battle duties that he had ongoing. Thankfully, he was able to recover. You see Brian Smith dropping to the bottom of the apron there. But Josh, you will not be racing for a championship this season. Unfortunate end there. What did you see happening there in that caution, in that Rekusugi out?
A driver that decides to wreck everybody every single week, especially at super speedways, doing it once again, and then doing it actually 2 cautions in a row and blaming another driver. It's ridiculous. I'm tired of it. I mean, we were running great. My JCTV truck was absolutely fast. We were in a great position. And, yeah, just the same guy every week. As soon as I even saw his name registered, I was not excited about it. I just knew something bad was going to come, and sure enough, it did.
Well, those are some harsh words to talk about Tyler Waterbowl like that, but I digress. You can speak how you want about any other driver, but obviously now the focus shifts to just the final 5 races of the season. If you race them, you race them, and you're racing just for positions and for battles, for wins. If you don't race them, you're here in the booth. So what are you looking to in these last 5 races here in the season?
Well, Dawson, before I answer that, I mentioned last week how you always seem to make me laugh when I feel like I am just absolutely ticked off. It's not Tyler, that's for sure, but yeah, I mean, the goal remains the same. Just, you know, trying to get PBR a championship and doing our best. Right now, Mikey is our main focus. From here on out, I mean, we're gonna try to do the best we can, but Parker, he's strong. Parker is definitely one to watch out for. But you know what? I mean, my goal is just to help PBR from here on out.
Alrighty, well, not how he wanted his night to end. Josh Coppernoll ends it in the infield care center. Will not be racing for a championship here in season 3. That. Hey, Adam, why don't you dial up Andrew Elias while he's out there and see if we can get a little bit of a pick-me-up here. See if you can get any words out of Elias.
Yeah, let's see if we can get something from him. Hey, Andrew, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we see you out there every couple laps. Unfortunately, go laps down. What is your view as you see the pack fly by?
I just kind of wish I was there and, like, through the power of the pack, like, it's giving me motivation to keep running. And, like, I would have pulled off a long time ago, but like I said, it just, like, provides me with so much motivation to keep going and to push myself. Like, I'm thinking about writing a book about this experience.
Oh, we love that you were motivated despite the unfortunate incident. Going back to that, you said you didn't want to be up there in the mix, and then cautions kind of psychoed you up there. What was that crash like? Oh, we got trouble up front.
Wrecking up front, Nathan Fuller, Michael Kruger, the race leader. Somehow they gathered up, keep it straight, no caution. Yeah. Andrew Elias, you brought.
Yeah, these guys are scrubs. Like, man, I haven't wrecked in like 10 laps. So, like, I don't know. But as you were asking me before that wreck happened, you said, like, why was I running up there? I didn't really want to run up there, but, like, I kind of had, like, a vision. And, like, a lot of people talk about having visions of God and Jesus. And I kind of had one of those, except it wasn't God or Jesus. It was Cameron Caldwell. And Cameron Caldwell told me in this vision that I should push it, and I should go try my hardest and motivate myself to win. And you know what? I said, vision of Cam, I believe in you. And that's why I was up there.
Well, we hate to see you get involved in that, but we're glad to see you still out there, still motivated, and hopefully you can push through and get the best result possible with all.
It made me a stronger person.
It sounds like a great experience, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you. I love you.
Yeah, thanks again for your time.
That's Andrew Elias, as always. Very, very entertaining when you give him a live mic. So, while Andrew Elias was entertaining us as a pick-me-up, we had a caution that came out there. It was called, I guess it was an admin caution that was called because there was something that came out for the wreck that happened. But what happened, Nathan Fuller got into the side of Michael Kruger, sent the two of them up into the wall, sent them back spinning across the track, and somehow, some godly forsaken way, nobody hit him. I don't know how everybody missed him.
Yeah, they were front of the field. Another crash right at the front. And this was the leaders you mentioned at Dawson, Kruger and Fuller, and it could have taken out 20 trucks easily. The rest of the field could have been wiped out, gone, and they all did a fantastic job not getting run over.
Yeah, I don't know how they were able to avoid it. The field was able to keep getting into it. On board here with Nathan Fuller. His perspective of this wreck, it looks like he was trying to get down in side draft. Just a little too close, a little bit of net code. Looks like that Kruger sent to the wall and hit by Fuller after that as well. Both were able to continue though. Keep rolling, at least keep rolling. Whether that's continue is to be determined, as both are still on pit road, I believe. At least Fuller is. Kruger is back out on track. So that hands the field back over in the hands of Jonathan Parker, but look who's up top. Dalton Kelly is currently on the outside lane. To the inside of row 2 is Ethan Fonseca Moreno with Brett Bennett to his outside. Right now, though, Ethan Fonseca Moreno is pretty much in a celebratory mood. There is really nobody left in this race that could steal a wild card spot. As it stands, I will double check that to make sure, because as the points stand right now, the only person running today that is available to steal it, if he can somehow pull off the miracle, is Brian Smith. I can steal the spot from Moreno. Josh Coppernell out of the race. Ryan Bogey's locked in with a wild card. Stotts is not racing. Richmond's not here. Knoll is not here. Zach Probst is not in the race. Jason Gracias is not here. Siciliano is not here. And Scott Roush has disconnected from the session. So, barring a miracle, looking to see if the math can add up.
Pace truck is off, though, and we are going green.
Yeah, we're going green, but just trying to do some quick math. There is a long shot possibility for a different wild card winner, but I'll have to double check on that one. I'll have to make sure that one is for certain. The green flag's back out, obviously. Brett Bennett is trying to lead the outside lane. Alonso Chicano tried to get around him there as quick as he could. But you see now, Dalton Kelly going to try to make some moves for the race lead. Here comes that 45, storming to the inside. Dalton Kelly's going to go to the race lead. And now the 45, he led earlier in the 24-hour race. They got out to the front in that number 25 car in the LMDH. But now the 45, Ford F-150, is going to cross the stripe and lead a lap here today. Dalton Kelly out front here at Atlanta.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to single file out. Brett Bennett really getting ditched on the top as everyone else looking like they're trying to single file out. And as I say that, it looks like Alonso Chicano is going to peek to the outside.
Talk about Dalton Kelly.
Check on the outside. Brett Bennett up in 4th. He's going to lose a couple spots there.
Yeah, talking about Dalton Kelly, you can see there, he scored his first career win back in Martinsville in the playoffs in Season 2. That was what kept his championship hopes alive. But unfortunately, he came up short, wasn't able to get it done. With that 45, looking for his second career win tonight if he can get it done. He's looking to stay out front, hopefully the remaining, give it 40 laps, and see if he can't walk away with a second trophy of his career in the first of Season 3.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, Dawson, that 45's paint scheme tribute to Kevin Harvick winning his last season in NASCAR this year, and this is the site of Harvick's first ever win in the Cup Series. Came right here, running the line that Kelly ran to get the lead on Jonathan Parker, running right on the bottom.
Harvick's way to the lead. We looking at Harvick's way to the win.
Brett Bennett still holding strong out there on the outside line. Really no help directly out back, just side drafting and trying to hold his own.
trucks kind of settled down here from what we saw earlier on in the race. At least it feels like they have. Of course, they're still going too wide there. Kruger's still trying to make the outside lane work as he battles his way back up to 7th. Everybody else still fighting for positions here with Brett Bennett, Kristen Maher, Brian Smith back there further back. Dalton Kelly wiggling a little bit there off of corner exit. He's got a slower truck up ahead. That is the 20 of Jeffrey Armistead running that bottom lane here. Ooh, Cordy McCorkle with a bit of a bobble. He recovered it there, but he bobbled a little bit. That's going to stack up that inside line again. Michael Kruger and Brett Bennett both clear to the bottom, and it looks like Parker peeked to the inside trying to go for the race lead. Couldn't quite do it. And now you see Brett Bennett and Michael Kruger. They're going to work together the outside lane, see if they can't make some moves again. Bennett now to the outside of Ethan Fonseca Moreno, looking to see if he can make some moves work.
I think Cody McCorkle right now has a handful. Every time I see that 02 truck with a truck right to his outside, he is driving off that right wheel, trying not to wreck it, and we see all that the front damage to that 02 from one of the big early crashes early on, and that truck has not driven the same since then. Obviously, he could not leave the outside lane at all earlier with all that front end damage, but he's doing a good job in the pack, just as long as he doesn't have another truck pinned to his outside.
Yeah, talking about damage, looking at the field right now, this top 10, there's only looks like 2 drivers maybe that have no incidents. 3 drivers actually in this top 10. And if you could guess them somehow, I would pay you handsomely. If you could guess the 3, actually make it 4 drivers in the top 10 that do not have any incident points.
Watermelon, would he be one of them?
Yes, Watermelon is surprisingly a driver without any incident points. Brian Smith has no incidents either this race. Then, of course, our race leader, Dalton Kelly, and then Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Even with the lead, apparently didn't get any kind of penalties there for that number 43 machine. So right now, incident-free, clean driving here tonight from those drivers in the top 10. But Dalton Kelly drifting up a little bit. He about got into Brett Bennett there. That would have changed that one and possibly changed that for Moreno and Watermelon as well, and maybe even Smith, as they're still side-by-side for the race lead. Brett Bennett eking out front. Of course, Brett Bennett's not here for some playoff guarantees. He's here to race for a win.
And as you see, Brett Bennett almost clear of Dalton Kelly, but not quite.
Oh, Kelly sideways!
He saves it.
Recovers, gets it back on the apron, back up to speed. No spin, no caution, but that hands the race lead over to, oh God, Brett Bennett. Phil and Cammy Bennett, I can hear them cheering as he takes to the lead. Clear as day out front now for that 47 truck.
Guys, I'm noticing just through the iRacing chat, our motivator tonight, he has put it behind pit wall and called it a night. Andrew Elias retiring that truck after trying to motivate all of us.
I think his motivations led him to the garage area. Jonathan, you want to see if you can catch up with that 44?
Absolutely. Andrew, it's the boys up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Oh, we just seen that you pulled it down behind pit wall. Just curious, did the motivation run out for you, or you just figured you're not going to lose any more spots and you'll finish where you finish?
Oh no, I blew my engine. Like the power of Christ was like really compelling me, really a lot the whole time, and like powering my engine. And then Jeffrey came over Discord and he said something that like distracted me. And so like my thoughts and prayers couldn't keep my engine running to like its maximum capabilities, and so it just like blew. And like usually like thoughts and prayers really keep your engine going really well, as we've seen a lot of times. But just like that little distraction really killed it, and my engine just went.
Oh, we hate to hear that for you. Hopefully Christ can show you mercy next week. Are you looking forward to next week? Are you going to bring the same motivation?
It really depends. Like when Jeffrey said something that distracted me from my thoughts and prayers, it really ruined the role that I was on. So it's going to be really hard to gain that momentum of the thoughts and prayers back to like full capacity for next week.
All right, Andrew. Well, we hope you have a good run next week. You are appearing to be locked into playoffs, and we hope you can give it a good run.
Hey, thank you. Love you.
That was Andrew Elias.
Never a dull moment with Andrew Elias here in the JCTV booth. Of course, you mentioned it, retiring from the race. 21st is where he will finish as of right now. Josh Coppernoll could go out and pass him if he can get 2 laps done. But Josh Coppernoll is on pit road, obviously, so he's retiring from the race as well. 22nd is where that 42 will finish. You see them lap at the 4. That is Nathan Fuller going his 3rd lap down now. But looking back, I see another driver inching closer and closer to the front now. David Durand is now riding in the 4th position in the outside lane, almost seemingly out of nowhere. This 24 truck has stormed to the front, come to life. And, you know, he's looking to steal another one. You know, he got Daytona, he got a Talladega win. Could he possibly go for the sweep and win a race here at Atlanta as well?
Out of nowhere, here comes Dalton Kelly right behind him. He was way back after that big slide a couple of laps ago and back up to the top of the field, up in the 6th position, trying to push David Durand up to the front. The only 2 trucks in the top doesn't even thinking about that outside lane.
And something I feel like we haven't highlighted enough. We talked about him having no incident points even though he slid earlier. Ethan Fonseca Moreno, he's been quiet today. Not running right up front in the front of the field, but not in the back of the field either. He's been right here, solid top 5, top 6 guy all day. And really just doing what he has to do here to try and hope that his playoff chances are still alive.
It's a slim margin. In my opinion, based on what I see, that the driver of the 43 will not be in the playoff field. Let me just double check one last time to verify that. It'll be close, I think, is the answer I'm going to have to give. Right now, here's what I'm thinking, and I'll give it to you straight, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tyler Watermullen has a chance, mathematically, to get into the top 20 in points if he can win and then get into the top 20 in points. That can award him a wild card spot. You see him battle with Cody McCorkle there, maybe a little bit of contact to the 68. He'll do the 3 wide there with Roy Crump going to the outside. So just as soon as I talk about it, of course, he just not gets wiped out. But if, per a miracle, Watermullen can win this race and can get enough points that would put him in the theoretical top 20 in points, I do believe Watermullen has a shot at getting the final wild card. But do not quote me on that, because that very well might be wrong, and he might not meet the minimum starts, or he might not meet some other criteria that I'm missing. We will have to see at the conclusion of this race. Right now, though, Brett Bennett leading this race. It's a sight we've seen many times before, that 47 truck out front, but the question is, can he finish the job? Can he walk home a victor here tonight? My answer is no. I don't know about you guys, but my answer is no.
Well, and I mean, we're within 30 to go here, so it is go time for some of these guys. I'm not sure where the pit strategy lies. I'm not sure if any of them can make it. It feels like it's been a long time since we've been to pit road, and we've been green for quite a while, so we could be coming up on a money stop here soon.
23 laps ago was when they last pit, and with it being about 20 laps to go, maybe 22 laps to go, don't see many guys going down pit road one more time unless we get a caution. Everybody should be good on fuel, and they should be good, at least okay with their tires to make it to the end of this race.
And also, to go back to one of the drivers that I picked at the top of the show, Ryan Bogey a couple laps ago had a moment coming off of 2, almost brought out that inevitable late caution that we normally see with these super speedway tracks.
I'm very impressed to see that 24 truck stay up there. He's been holding his own up there with little help. Now I say that it's just Mahopo's out of line, and aids his teammate, but he would have been out there by himself with no draft for quite a few laps since he lost Starton Kelly from his tail. But 24 saved right up there, and now he's going towards the front, pushing that 69 truck, last week's winner.
Looking to go for 2 in a row. Only 2 drivers have been able to do it this season. Jonathan Parker did it twice. The other guy to do it, the guy in front of him, Michael Kruger. But Tristan Maher looks to be the 3rd person to do it. Instead, a bad push from Duran gets him squarely sideways. He just about hit Brett Bennett, almost catches the wall. How that wasn't a massive accident that wiped out the field, I don't know. But they kept it straight, and then we back at it here. As you see now, Jonathan Parker going to jump to the outside lane and try to make a move. It is go time here at Atlanta.
That indeed it is, and Jonathan Parker saying, I want the lead and I want it now, and he's going to pull up alongside Michael Kruger and get to the quarter, maybe the door of Brett Bennett. And the race is on. Look at Ethan Fonseca Moreno jumping to the outside line right in behind Jonathan Parker. This outside line is forming, guys.
Ethan Fonseca Moreno jumping to the top. Yeah. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, you mentioned it was forming. Justin Duran was up there. Roy Crump was up there. He backed out. John just mentioned Ethan Moreno. And now in the middle, Tristan Maho trying to make something happen. Maybe on the inside of Moreno, thought better of it. Into 3 wasn't quite close enough.
Yeah,
3 wide. 3 wide can work here, but I don't know if these drivers want to do that just yet. We still have laps to go here. You still can lose the race. You certainly cannot win it yet.
Anybody's race still. Coming up on 16 laps to go at the line this time. Why? If you are in the top 15 right now, you have a shot. Even Alonso Chicano, who is currently 29 seconds, almost 30 seconds off of the rest of the field, he's still got a shot to win. But right now, that's looking bleak as the field comes storming up into his view, ready to lap him. As they run right now, coming up on the lap traffic there, that is Alonso Chicano, 15th place, gonna try to fight to stay on the lead lap. After that, looks like actually he will dive to the apron and let the field go, let them race. 15 to go at the stripe this time. The Mardon PC, 15 to go here at Atlanta for the final race of the regular season, and of course, it's only fitting the regular season champion, Jonathan Parker, leading the field.
He's got one of his good friends, and Ethan Moreno, right behind him. These two finished 1-2 at Darlington. That was huge for Ethan Moreno's morale, and it boosted him this season. He's, as we see, Jeffrey almost blew his engine on the apron right ahead of these guys. It's going to be very interesting to see how Ethan Moreno is going to shape up these last couple laps, hanging right on the tail of Jonathan Parker.
To go at the line. Maher now trying to work the outside lane. That is David Duran, and now right behind him in the 5 is Justin Duran back in the picture. Roy Crump back there in the background as well in the outside lane. Meanwhile, you're inside line right now. It's the 81 of Jonathan Parker, the 43B, the Fonseca Moreno, the 47 of Brett Bennett. Tyler Watermolen just blinked out. He is 4th in line. Right behind him is Michael Kruger, and I believe that next truck back there behind him is the 02 of Cody McCorkle. So definitely a topsy-turvy mix of top 10 drivers who have won before in the series, and drivers looking for career win number 1. 13, now 12 to go here at Atlanta. Drifts up in the corner. That's going to open the door for that inside line to roll a little bit further ahead. 11 laps left. Who can make the move that can win them this race? Brett Bennett there in 3rd. He is hungry for a win. Moreno as well. He knows if he wins, he can for sure lock himself into the next round, into the championship battle. at the conclusion of this one, but he bobbles a little bit, opens the door. Brett Bennett out to the inside. He's going to go to the inside. Parker going to go to the outside to block Moreno or to stick with Moreno. Unsure which it'll be, but now he's going to go back to the bottom. He'll go down to block Brett Bennett. Parker's going to try to make that truck 2 lanes wide. We'll cross the stripe this next time by. It will be 10 laps to go here at Atlanta. Still anybody's race that's in the mix.
Yeah, that's what Brett Bennett wanted to see. Makes that 81 much more valuable. Knows he doesn't have an ally behind him. You know you can make your move strike. You can maybe even make it 3 wide and just blindside that 81 truck if he gets a big enough run. He's got Tyler Watermelon behind him, a teammate. He's looking to the inside down the back straightaway of Jonathan Parker as he gets a push from Ethan Moreno.
Parker went to the top of the backstretch, back to the bottom through the corners. He is doing everything he can to keep Bennett and Moreno behind. Moreno hits the wall right there. Maher side by side now with Bennett as Moreno now going to drop to the back. Slowly but surely, you see what I see. Tyler Watermelon making his way to the front. He's now 5th. He's in the mix. If this happens, if Watermelon wins, there is a possibility that he could wind up with a wild card, but it's a long shot at the most if it all works out. Right now, though, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to be Tristan Maher going to be doing some battle here for this race win with Brett Bennett and Jonathan Parker.
And these guys are holding each other down tight here through the corners now. You see nobody willing to give an inch. It's go time. Tristan Maher, like I said earlier, trying to show these guys he's not just a road course ringer. He is an oval track guy, and he's here to contend for wins. Tyler Watermelon's loose. He's going to go around.
And the caution's going to fly.
Watermelon did a great job not backing up into the pack and keeping it a 1-truck spin, but you mentioned the caution is out, and it's going to completely shake up the dynamic of this race with 8 to go.
Just like that, we see it happen. Take it back, 3 and 4, of course. They were still tight racing with each other. A tight battle it was for this position. Right here, Watermelon just hit the apron. And that snaps it around right there, and he was able to keep, for the most part, in contact with McCorkle a little bit there in the left rear, but it doesn't look like it's going to do too much damage. You see right here, a good job of keeping it out of the pack and keeping it off the walls, so he's still got a shot to win this thing. He's not out of it yet, and another driver who's not out of it now, Alonso Chicano, is going to get the free pass here. He's going to get his lap back. So he is still back in the mix as well, but with 7 to go this time, it looks like it might be about 4 to go on the restart. It'll all be important what they do. Looks like David Duran, Justin Duran going to pit. Michael Kruger electing to stay out. So the Duran duo pit. Cody McCorkle, Ryan Bogian, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Dalton Kelly, Alex Kerfin, Cameron Caldwell, and I believe Tyler Watermelon's going to tuck in line behind as well. There's Alonso Chicano getting the free pass. So as it stands right now, it looks like the top 5 electing to stay out under this caution. They do not pit. That's Jonathan Parker, Brett Bennett, Tristan Maher, Michael Kruger, and Roy Crump. They do not pull down pit road. They elect to stay out and see if this strategy works on this short run. Well, first, Adam, we've seen some chaotic Super Speed races in the season even. What are you looking at as we get ready to go with under 5 laps to go on this restart?
Pretty much every truck on the track, and that's what you have to watch. It's going to be just from one truck. It's going to be formulated from 3 or 4 trucks back. The one that can push the guy on front, or the crash that can catalyze everything. It could be just a chain reaction. We saw that at Talladega, just the whole field getting wiped out in the try-over chain reaction crash. And with the way the track fans out here on the front stretch, that could definitely be such a scenario with the quad oval.
Jonathan, this is your first Super Speed race, I believe, here as a broadcast colleague for the InThePitsNews Truck Series. What has been your takeaways so far as this race has progressed?
My takeaways are going to be, like, these guys really did impress me when they settled down there in the middle of the race and got a good chunk of running in. You know, first caution, and I don't math very well, but it's been quite a while since we've had a wreck, and to keep it single car instant, that's even more impressive. That's hard to do on any track, let alone a super speedway. And I am excited to see the side-by-side battling that we're going to already expect coming to this finish.
With that, it will be 4 laps to go on the restart. Parker inside. Bennett outside. Two different stories. Bennett's a veteran. He's been here for 3 seasons. Still has yet to break through and find victory lane. Parker, on the other hand, he's the rookie. Coming into this season for the first time, 4 wins already. The most ever in a season by a driver in the InThePitsNews Truck Series. And he's looking to add on another one tonight. Bennett looking for number 1. Parker looking for number 5. To tie him second most all time for all drivers in the InThePitsNews Truck Series. Back behind them, row 2, Tristan Maher is looking to go back-to-back. Michael Kruger is looking to rebound and get his 3rd win of the season. If he can do so tonight, find victory lane.
An interesting dynamic you talk about there, Dawson, with our two up front, but basically our first 2 rows are the same. 2 rookies and 2 veterans.
Pace car is off. Parker, Bennett, front row. The Geico restart zone. The green flag is back out. We're back underway. We are going again here at Atlanta. Who's going to walk away with the win? Parker with a great restart. Maher right there behind him in second. Bennett getting a push from Michael Kruger now. Going to try to make this outside lane work. Duran to Duran right there. David and Justin going to see if they can work their plate racing magic once again. Parker to the top. He's going to block somebody on the wall in the background. I believe it was David Duran. Parker now blocking the top lane. Duran's going to go to the middle. Going to try to force it 3 wide. Michael Kruger sit up top. That's going to open the door for Brett Bennett to go to the middle. Parker leads the field. Everybody trying to do anything they can to get to the front. Here comes David Duran to the outside. Bennett's going to try to block. Bennett's going to try to hold off this 24, this 5 as quick as he can. He's doing everything. There's contact. Door side to side spinning in the back. Justin Duran is around. Caution flag is going to fly. It's actually Michael Kruger. Alex Kerfin's in it. Alonso Chicano through the grass. The caution will fly again, and we will have overtime.
That was easily the most competitive the outside lane has been all night, and that's because of the whole half the field was stacked up there, was congested. We saw David get in the fence off of turn 2 because they were so crammed up. They're going off the same spot, and you see Kerfin just get spun into turn 1, and he has had the worst luck on super speedway racing this season. I believe he's been wrecked out of all 4 of them now.
Well, he's still rolling right now. Looks like he's able to go. Roy Crump has had a day. He's been involved in quite a few accidents, and that one was another one he was involved in. That puts him at 12 incidents in this race. That is the most by anybody here tonight. Currently scored 10th, though, so he's been able to both be involved in a lot and stay up there competitive. So we'll see how that shakes out for that number 70 truck. So, of course, we come through the trial this time by. We're going to get that overtime now as we see Tristan Maher rolling up there behind Brett Bennett. Jonathan Parker leading the field. He's going to go to the outside lane, or the inside lane, excuse me. That's not the one to green, so don't worry what I just said. It doesn't matter. Bennett, Parker, such polar opposites that we've seen. The veteran looking to get win 1, the rookie looking to go for number 5 to cement himself as the championship favorite for sure, if he hasn't already. It's going to come down to this restart here, and even then it's not a guarantee. Maher, of course, is in 3rd, looking for win number 2, his 2nd in a row. And David Durand, he's up to 4th. He's looking for his 3rd win this season, looking for his 3rd Super Speedway win. Pretty much, he's like the Justin Haley of this league at this point, with how dominant he's been on these Super Speedway races. Then you have behind him Justin Durand. He was able to break through and get his first career win earlier this season at Kentucky. Looks to get his 2nd win at another track with Green Walls here at Atlanta. And then looking further back, Ryan Bogey scored his first win at Michigan a couple weeks ago. Ethan Fonseca Moreno looking to lock in a playoff spot here tonight. Tyler Watermole in his 8th, looking for career win number 2. And of course, Roy Crump in his first start is 9th. And then Cameron Caldwell, our Season 1 champion, rounds out the top 10. Overtime. Hectic, chaotic, crazy. Will we only have one?
I don't think we're done here yet, Dawson. I think we're gonna get another overtime here, but don't put that on me if it happens.
Here we go. Attempt number 1, the first attempt here at overtime at Atlanta. Of course, this is also the first race for the InThePitsNews Truck Series at Atlanta, both new and old. Never ran a race at this track. Looking to see who walks away the inaugural winner. Bennett chose the inside this time to start behind Parker, as Maher chose the outside to start right ahead of David Duran, who's on fresher tires. Parker is going to lead the field into the Geico restart zone. The green flag is back out. Overtime here at Atlanta, where Parker gets a good start. Bennett did not get going. Maher now going to try to make a run to the outside. He's got help from David Duran, pushing that number 24 machine. Parker's going to try to make that truck 2 lanes wide. He's going to try to go up in front of Maher. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. Now they're going to be 3 wide for the race lead. Here comes Brent Bennett to the inside. Parker blocking the number 69 of Tristan Maher. That opens the door for Bennett on the inside. Parker's trying to do everything he can to hold on to this race lead. Maher wants to go for it. Ryan Bogey is here in the inside lane. Could he steal another one? At the line this time.
Justin Duran.
Justin Duran now pushing the 81 of Parker. White flag is out. We've got one more lap. Tight racing, Parker. There's Duran pushing. It's going to be a close one there. During contact made around goes Parker. Parker goes into the wall head on. And they keep wrecking. Justin Duran able to survive. David Duran survives as well. Dalton Kelly does too. Can Kelly get to Duran? Through 3 and 4 they go. Can Justin Duran go for win number 2, or does Dalton Kelly have enough? He makes a move to the outside. Duran's going to block. Coming to the stripe, it's going to be Justin Duran, who's going to hold on and win his 2nd career race here in Atlanta.
Wow. No words for that finish. Just wow.
And when I say nobody's going to be happy after that race, I mean nobody is going to be happy after that race.
I think you're right, Dawson. Definitely, what a finish. Justin is not even going to be able to celebrate. His truck is KO'd there right at the finish, getting wrecked there by Dalton as they crossed the line. Both just trying to do everything he could to get to the win, but after that crazy wreck on the back straightaway, which essentially took out the entire field, guys.
And we're going to get the replay here of that entire final lap. All of the chaos that happened in that one. It was a wild one. Coming to the finish. You know, we saw a lot of craziness happening there. The first thing we saw, of course, is Jonathan Parker get turned into turn 2 off the front bumper of Justin Durant. Right there, around goes the 81, but then right here, Bogey gets into Bennett. Bennett couldn't save it, and around he went. The rest of the field piling in there. You see Dalton Kelly able to get a run here. He made the move. He was going to try to go for this win, but it looks like the door was closed on him when he went to the outside. Duran just blocked, and Kelly had no chance.
Kelly got so loose there coming through the quad oval too.
Well, with that, looks like that'll be the end of the race. An interesting lineup of post-race interviews, that's for sure. We're going to have a lot of beef to square up here from the looks of it. Jonathan, let's see. I think you're going to be the first person. Actually, looks like Jonathan is not here. We'll see. We'll pull Josh. Josh is not busy doing anything besides sitting here watching what happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to have him interview our third place finisher, David Durand. And while we do that, yeah, you're going to pull overtime here tonight. We have a request for something to be looked at. So we're going to go back and look at that as well. This is going to be the onboard of Alonso Chicano at the conclusion of that race. So we're going to go back and see what happened, at least for Chicano. If we can see what happened, we're going to go back and see what happened with the 25. He requested us to take a look at it, see what happened. I think actually I see why, because he had a shotgun seat to it all. So we're going to get back in here and take a look at what Alonso Chicano was able to see on this run here. Celsius lifting on board camera. Look at all the chaos happening ahead of him. Maher spinning. Look at that. Misses Maher. Trying to get by Bennett. There was Tyler Watermole, and that's what wiped him out of the wreck. To the outside of Brent Bennett. You can hear the tires squealing too as he battled by the 47. And somehow, some way through all of that, Alonso Chicano walked away with a 5th place finish for tonight's race. All right, now back to what we were doing. Josh, let's see. Actually, it looks like Jonathan's here, so Jonathan's available. Let's see if Jonathan can get a hold of our 3rd place finisher, David Durand.
I can. David Durand, do you have a copy?
I do.
Well, 3rd place here. Probably not what you were going for there at the end, but we've seen some carnage. You were able to survive the carnage on the back straightaway and able to survive the whole race. Go ahead, walk us through what that race was like for you.
Well, our plan was just to lay back, let all the carnage happen, and with about 30 laps to go, I started to make my move and, just hang in there and trying to get through the wrecks right there in the last handful of laps, and somehow got 3rd out of it. I mean, it's just these types of these racetracks. You just got to survive and be at the right place at the right time, and we were to get a top 3 out of it.
Absolutely. Well, we seen all the action. We seen the late race incident there that happened right in front of you with Brett Bennett throwing what appeared to be a late block. Just thoughts on the racing overall, how you felt about it.
It just was not a lot of smart racing out there. You can't push into corners with these bumpers, but the trucks just don't line up properly. There was just a lot of dumb blocking. That late block right there by Brett. I mean, it wasn't clear on Justin. They were the front 5 run old tires, so surprised they stayed out. So we all pitted. We knew we had an advantage. And the last restart, we tried to force the 3 ride to make our move because that was our plan. Because I think someone spun the tires in the outside, so we were just trying to make a move to make it 3 wide. That didn't work with the blocks. This not really a lack of awareness of driving on some of these guys. So happy this track is not coming to next season. I would rather race to Old Atlanta because that's a lot better racing in my opinion.
Oh, flipping the script from Atlanta tonight, next week, Chicagoland. What do you think you've got going for Chicagoland next week? What are your goals going to be?
Well, just trying to stay out of trouble and maybe see if we can snag a top 5. I mean, we're in the playoffs, so we're just see if we can just stay out of make it a clean race. Maybe lead at some laps, hopefully, and get a top 5 finish out of it. I think I'd be pretty happy.
Absolutely, and you are locked into the playoffs. What is your goal going to be to go get this championship? What are you going to have to do?
We got to run consistently. We got to see if we can maybe steal win at one of those tracks. I mean, I love racing at Chicagoland at night, so hoping, if things can go our way over there. I mean, just if we can qualify good, stay up front, that or receiving in snag one at Bristol. I love running short tracks over there. So if we can find a way to just stay clean, get rid of all the carnage, I think we'll be in a good position to maybe fight for it at Kansas.
All right, and last thing before we let you go, who gets it done for you over there in your camp with the 24 truck?
Just Cam Caldwell and Chicano and Radius Racing, all of us. Alex Kerfan, my brother Justin, who I'm happy he won the race. Wish it was myself, but we'll definitely take Durand win in a Durand top 3, so we'll definitely take that. But yeah, just thank those guys for being part of their team, and we'll just go get them next week over Chicagoland.
All right, and that is your third place finisher, David Durand.
Well, with our third place finisher, now comes P2, Dalton Kelly. I believe Adam is caught up with Dalton here.
Yeah, hey Dalton, you got a copy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dalton, you were able to get through that last lap crash. You scooted through the bottom there, way back deep in the pack on that last lap. Did you think you were going to be in the spot to come through it all and be almost there at the checkered?
It's great to have a good run at Atlanta Super Speedway. Got to thank Joseph Strigley and Circle B Diecast for being on board this week, like they are every other week. And I'm just looking forward to these final 5 races.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicago next week. How much are you looking forward to that? Being a completely different mile and a half to what we saw tonight.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait to be back on track.
All right, thanks, Dalton, and thanks for your time.
Always.
Man of many words there, Dalton Kelly. Not very happy, it seems like, even though you got a second place finish there, Dawson.
Yeah, we've known Dalton to be that kind of way. Very short on words, for sure. But what we'll do is we'll let him. It looks like Justin might be busy right now. So instead, what I think we could do is I say we can get a hold, maybe, of the driver that has locked himself in, I believe. Or actually, it looks like we want somebody else to talk to. It looks like we have an interview from Josh Copperell. He's caught up to somebody down there. I don't know who he's caught up to. I can't quite see from all the way up here. Josh, who do you got?
I'm with Brett Bennett. Brett, I didn't actually think I'd be doing an interview tonight, but here we are, fresh out of the infield care center for both of us. Man, I was watching the last bit of the race, and you had an incredible run. Obviously, I wanted a PPR driver to win, but we were kind of down and out. It was awesome seeing you up there, but kind of take us through what unfolded there last few laps.
Yeah, I think on the first restart late, I threw a bad block on. It was either Justin or David. I don't know which of the two it was. It was one of the Durands because they were side by side on the front stretch. Thought I was still clear, and I didn't want to use up in that late in a race at a plate track for a chance at a win. I'm not gonna lift in that situation. Like I mistimed a little bit, so that was on me. Thanks, by the way, to Michael Kruger. He was awesome pushing me. We had a really great run. We were really having a lot of success together. We were hoping we could get lined up on that last restart, and then he just got used up. I don't know exactly what happened there, but he got used up. And then that final restart, I thought I was in a really good spot behind Parker. I knew Parker, the way he had been racing every restart, he would jump out to a big lead, and then when the pack would catch up, he'd block the outside line, would get a big jump, and then he'd block the outside line super aggressive. So my thought was, if he blocks the outside line super aggressive, they can check up, and I'd have a chance on the inside. And I almost ended up working out that way. And then on the last lap, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but to me it looked pretty dirty from Justin. It looked like he just drove through Jonathan Parker and ended up winning the race out of it, which I don't know. We'll see if if they do anything about that or not. I don't know. But I thought there was a chance for a split second. To me, it looked like the C's were going to park, and I might make it through. But then I got hooked down the apron, came back up, and bounced off Justin, and then everybody was wrecking. So oh well. It still ended up with a good finish. I think I got 6th, which still a top 10 at least. So yeah, nice to see some comments in chat right now. But yep, thanks to my sponsors, all that. Joseph Strigley, Strigley Stats, SBLD. We had a great run in the Rolex and then good run tonight. So
I'm actually glad you brought up the Rolex, because I was going to ask you, running the Rolex earlier, you guys started last night, finished 4th overall, I believe. How tired are you from running 2 races, and how are you feeling right now?
I was telling Mike and we were out front, like, I'm not feeling that tired because I actually ended up still getting like 5 hours of sleep last night, thankfully. And yeah, and I wasn't feeling that tired, like, but physically I was sore, like just so many hours sim racing today that like my right hand was like cramping up in that race, which is silly to say. It makes me feel out of shape, but yeah, it was fun. Been a fun day. We'll go sleep a lot tomorrow and then be ready for the next week, and then go to the actual Rolex next weekend. So be some fun times.
All right. Well, I know you already gave out sponsors and shout outs, but I'll ask you anyway if there's any more shout outs you'd like to give before we let you go.
All of y'all here at JCTV, y'all do a great job, and all of SBLD. Couldn't do it without everybody there. It's just a great team to drive for. Love racing with everybody on it. So, yep. And shout out to my parents. No clue if they're still watching or not at this point, but probably were at some point. So, yep.
All right. Well, that was Brett Bennett, 6th place finisher tonight here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway Super Speedway edition. Dawson, I think you may finally have our race winner.
We're going to see if we can get a hold of him. Let's see first. Hey, Justin Duran, this is Dawson up at the booth. You got a copy? Looks like not really. Unavailable as of this moment. So with that, looks like we're not going to get a word in from Justin Durand as of right now. Let's see instead if I can get a hold of somebody else here, because it looks like a lot of those guys are busy. Let's see if we can get a word in with this gentleman right here. The driver who was able to come home in the 9th position, 2nd place in the points to end the regular season, Michael Kruger. Michael, this is Dawson with the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, it was a crazy race for sure, but in the end of the day, you were able to come home with top 10 finish despite all that wrecking and everything. What were your thoughts about that race as a whole, especially heading into that overtime?
Well, it was pretty fun until halfway, and then it sucked. That's pretty much it, really. It sucked about halfway through the race after I got wrecked. I just had to fought back after getting wrecked to just unnecessary close racing. Clawed all the way back and shoved the crap out of Brett to the lead, and then got shuffled back. Then green white checkered, stayed out, and I got shuffled with guys in fresher tires. And then I saw the wreck coming, and nowhere to go, and ran to it and died, and just sat around and just backed into a 9th place somehow with a torn up race car.
Well, you got 9th, torn up race car. And with that, though, still headed to the playoffs. You get the stage win start, and you're now heading into the playoffs, 2nd seeded. What are your thoughts heading in now with these 5 races here? 2nd go around this time now in the chase format.
Well, I felt like I could have had 5 extra bonus points going with that, but guess it just wasn't meant to be. And, well, I guess coming back 2nd time around, I mean, I'm in a lot better points position, I guess, than I was last year. I mean, I have more bonus points from stages and just from wins. I mean, yeah, I just feel like I have a lot better cushion to the playoffs. playoffs this year, and hopefully be in a better position. I could be able to capitalize it and not falter, just like what happened tonight.
Already a ninth place finish, but still heading into the championship battle. Second in points, Michael Kruger. Michael, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dawson.
Well, I don't suppose we're going to get a word in tonight from our race winner. It is currently looking like there is a conversation ongoing with everything that transpired tonight. So first what we're going to do is we are going to show you your post-race results here on JCTV. As we get everything ready to show you who we had finishing where. Of course, Justin Duran, in controversial fashion, scores the race win. Dalton Kelly brings it home second. David Duran comes home third. Cameron Caldwell fourth. And Alonso Chicano running out the top five. 3 of the top 5 to Radius Racing. And Radius winds up sweeping, essentially sweeping, as Vortex is an extension of Radius Racing. They wind up sweeping the plate races this season. Brett Bennett in 6th. Cody McCorkle brings it home 7th. Tyler Watermull in 8th. Michael Kruger 9th. And Alex Kerfin rounds out your top 10. Then it was Roy Crump in his debut. He brings it home 11th. Ryan Bogey 12th. Jonathan Parker wrecked in turn 2. Goes down to finish 13th. And then Tristan Maher back in 14th. Ethan Fonseca Moreno 15th place. But it doesn't matter because he all but locked up that playoff spot. There's Shane O'Neill in 16th. Jeffrey Armistead in 17th. Nathan Fuller is 18th. Brian Smith 19th. Anthony Marshall rounding out your top 20. And then to close up the field, it was Andrew Elias, Josh Coppernoll, Jamie Wright, Josh Arnold, Scott Roush, Daniel Saponsky, and Jason Gracias. Of course, Jamie Wright making his debut tonight. Just wasn't meant to be for a good run. But with that, I mean, that'll do it pretty much for us here tonight. So what were your thoughts on that finish there? Actually, well, no words there from our winner yet. So it looks like they are currently in discussion still. So we might have to try to catch up with him next week. So let's talk about that race there. First, John, I want to get your words from someone who has really not been here as long and is kind of new to this In the Pits News Truck Series. What did you see out of this race, and what was your takeaways from it?
Well, I wasn't surprised once I seen the Duran brothers were up there that they were going to help each other out. So, I mean, kind of expected there, but I really did not see Justin Duran coming through to win this race after Brett Bennett had his controversy with him and threw that late block here towards that brought out the final caution. But inevitably makes it back up there and wins the race, survives the big wreck on the back straightaway. I mean, it was crazy racing all around. We had a good chunk of green flag run there from, I think, like lap, I don't quote me on it, I think it was like lap 30 to somewhere in the 100s. We had a good run, and then just late race cautions brought on the chaos, and where we were looking at possibly going green to the end, it turned into a little bit of a caution fest like we had in the beginning and took out some key drivers. But as you mentioned, Ethan Fonseca Moreno all but locking up that last playoff spot. Good for him to get out here and do what he had to do. I know his fate was kind of up in the air, but doing what he had to do, ran up front all night. A lot of drivers swapping position, going from the back to the front. Just exactly what you would expect from a plate track. Not your typical plate track in terms of tire wear, but definitely good racing all around, and I'm excited for next week.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting. Adam, what were your takeaways from this?
Well, it was a dramatic end of the regular season. We had all the regulars up there controlling the race there at the end, and it just went off spiral there. You guys mentioned crazy finish, and definitely did not anticipate it ending up like that in the last couple restarts there to the finish, and definitely saw a crash coming, but I thought they were going to make it to the front straightaway. It was an amazing finish, at least. Amazing race, like John mentioned. I was really happy to see that long green flag run, especially when we saw a lot of those cautions in that opening stage. It was a fun race all the way through.
Yeah, it was fun, even with all the chaos. You know, you can't let things like that take away from such a good race, from everything that went on. You know, we saw on the track. Of course, at the end of the race, you know, you want there to be that close finish, that good race to the finish. And it's something that just doesn't happen all the time. Obviously, in a perfect world, you know, that race stays with nobody spinning out there in turn 2 and everybody duking it out to the line, you know, coming across the line 4 wide for the win, something like that. But that's in a perfect world, and we aren't in a perfect world, and that's just kind of what happens. And you know, it's racing at this point. You know, I mean, we're all going for the win. Everybody's going for the win, so you're gonna go for it as best as you can, and you're gonna do what you have to do. I see that Justin is in the pre-race interview. I'm gonna see if he is ready to interview, though. We'll try this one more time. He may be in the middle of a conversation, but we'll try it out here and see. Justin Duran, this is Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy? Hey, Justin Duran, this is Dawson Allen up in the booth. You got a copy? So it looks like we're going to have to wait until next week to get a word in from your race winner. Of course, controversial fashion, it's what's going to happen. You're going to see that happen. So what we saw is what we saw. The chaos, the craziness, the chaos over and over again, I should say. So we'll take a look here really quick at your schedule. Coming up, we've got the playoffs. Chicagoland, Bristol, Homestead, Miami, Martinsville, and we end the season at Kansas. And like I said, your playoff field was locked in as soon as they took the green flag for the most part. As you see here once again. Jonathan Parker, your regular season champion. Michael Kruger, Justin and David Durand, Alex Kerfin, Dalton Kelly, Alonzo Chicano, and Andrew Elias will all race for a championship. Joining them as your wild cards, Ryan Bogey. And as of right now, we're going to operate under the assumption that you'll be seeing Ethan Fonseca Moreno battling for a championship. But of course, that could change as time goes on. We'll have to see how it plays out. But that will do it for us here tonight from Atlanta. Hectic, crazy, chaotic. No words can describe what we saw. What we saw was nothing short of incredible, though. So, for Jonathan Canfield, Josh Coppernoll, Adam Kuhn, this is Dawson Allen signing off from here tonight from Atlanta Super Speedway, I should say. We saw a heck of a race, and we saw Justin Durand walk away with his second career win in controversial fashion. But next week, the playoffs begin, the chase for the championship. 5 races to determine a champion. Who will walk away with the championship trophy? We'll see 5 weeks from today as we go into our playoffs. So like I said, Jonathan Canfield, Adam Kuhn, Josh Coppernoll, this is Dawson Allen signing off from JCTV saying so long and have a great rest of your night.